Hello there guys and welcome to EAFC 26 Sheffield Wednesday career mode. I've held off on this for quite a while because, well, you all know what's going on at the club. I just wanted a bit of clarity on where I could start this career mode. So yeah, that is why I'm starting it a bit later than normal. This year I had a couple of options I could have done for the series. I could have gone for the post takeover and gone with a financial takeover career, or I could have thrown myself in at the deep end with the Chanzeri situation, which I have gone ahead and done. So what that means is we will be starting with a points deduction and the transfer embargo for 3 windows, which is the same as real life. So yeah, throwing myself in at a quite difficult situation here. But yeah, let's get into the series. If you're going to enjoy it, please do consider leaving a like. It helps out the series quite a lot. But yeah, let's get into it. So first of all, just want to explain a few things. Starting off with how I'm going to do this series. This series I'm going to do a month per episode, just to try and progress it a little quicker. Sometimes I may even try and squeeze 2 in. So for this episode, we are going to go through August. I'm also having a pretty similar situation to Wednesday, where I am not going to have pre-season. So yeah, a month per episode, just to progress it a bit quicker. That means some highlights will be shorter than others. You know, some games I'll just show the goals. Other games, which I'll label games in focus, we will look at in more depth, like I have in the past. And sometimes we may squeeze in either a full game or a live commentary game for the big games, such as the Steel City Derby. So, without any further delay, let's get into the episode. So one thing I've noticed in going back over this, I put the embargo on for 1 window. So we're doing the 1 window transfer embargo. I meant to put it on for 3. I think I was questioning whether maybe when the new owners come in, we will get it lifted. So I was maybe questioning that. So yeah, we are starting with a 1 window embargo, so it's going to be less difficult. But we still have the points deduction. Something else I forgot to mention earlier as well was there was no option for a 12-point deduction, so we have gone with a 10-point deduction as a result, because I feel that 15 was a bit unfair, considering that I don't think we're going to get the 15-point deduction this season. I think it will be next season, but I could be incorrect on that. So yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, let's get into it. A key aspect of this career mode will be right here in the youth academy. That will be massive for us in this save with the embargo, the financial struggles, etc. At this moment, we don't have anyone really good enough to break through. We also don't really have anyone of age to break through, so lose-lose there. But it doesn't matter because we do have some pretty decent potential players early on. So yeah, at least there is that. I think it's pretty widespread as well, just looking back at it, so we don't just have it on 1 or 2 positions, which has happened in the past, where it's just been, I think, a goalkeeper and a left back, which it's not bad, but it's not ideal. So yeah, it's good to see that we've got a couple players in different positions with higher potentials. That's something I will continue to look at upgrading later down the line. However, right now I was just focusing on what we got, which is probably Youth Academy suicide early on, but oh well. And just to confirm what we are up against, there we go. There's our -10 to start the season. Again, not ideal. I couldn't make it -12 because that would have been more realistic. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's literally 2 points. If we stay up by 2 points, then thank you. Thank you, EA, for making -12 impossible. But yeah, so there's the challenge we're up against this season, and yeah, I think it's time that we get into it. So remember how a lot of the players said there was very little communication from the board? Well, Bannan clearly didn't get the memo that we are under a transfer embargo. Because he's complaining that we're not making signings. Well, Barry, let me tell you, we can't. The first game of the season would then roll around against Leicester City, and let me tell you, it was a pretty miserable day at the King Power Stadium. The first goal of the game would come courtesy of Carranza. He would receive the ball off a save from Ethan Horvath and tap it into an empty net, and yeah, that just sums a lot up for us in this game, as you will see as we go on. It was a good bit of striker's instinct, in fairness, and yeah, unfortunately we would fall behind early. The second goal of the game would be an Ethan Horvath special. Ah dear, ball hit straight at him, all he can do is beat it back out, and there is Mavididi to put it again into a pretty much empty net, and it is 2-0 to Leicester City. Oh dear, that is really poor from Horvath, very realistic though. The third would be no better from Horvath, coming a long way to claim the ball, and I think it was Carranza again heading it past him, and yeah, that was game, set and match in the 33rd minute. 2 Horvath mistakes and a good bit of play from Carranza in the first place gets them their 3-goal lead before half time. In a game that was already finished, the one bright spark, Leicester would end up missing a late penalty, hitting the post. Horvath, I think, may well have even saved it if it was on target, but it was already way too little, way too late for us in this game, in which Leicester City would run out 3-0 winners. Between games, something I would end up doing is changing formations. I wasn't exactly happy with the formation against Leicester, so I decided I would mix things up. I just felt like only having wing backs and not having anyone further up the field on the wing wasn't quite working, as I felt at times I could have just used that pass down the line. So I have now opted for a formation that actually holds wingers. And that actually leads us then on to our first game in focus for the episode. A lot of rotation for this one as we face Shrewsbury in the Carabao Cup. Yeah, playing a lot of the young lads. Pretty similar team to what we did actually see in the cup competitions this season, with 1 or 2 senior players that have been playing league games involved. So yeah, let's get into it. Into the game we went then, and the first chance of the game would fall our way. It would come from a corner in the 10th minute. It would be Olaf Kabatsky who would be taking it. He would swing it in, it would be headed away by the Shrewsbury man, and it would fall for Shipson on the edge, who strikes towards goal, but the goalkeeper would end up making a good save down to his left hand side. Not long after that, we would get our second chance of the game. Sakira and Shipston combining on the edge. Fuzier would strike it towards goal, it would hit the bar, and then George Brown on the follow-up. It takes a lucky ricochet off the keeper, but we do have the lead against Shrewsbury. Great bit of anticipation from George Brown to make sure he was in the right position at the right time to put it away. Really lucky ricochet off the keeper's trailing leg though, but it doesn't matter because we are leading. Then with about 25 on the clock, Shrewsbury would get forward. and in the end they'd slip the ball through and fire it past Horvath. In their first chance of the game, they would equalise. There was a question of offside, but obviously, as you'll see, he actually wasn't offside. Well, you won't see because the first replay is awful in this game. Seriously, you need to fix this glitch. Your first replay is always the halfway line for some reason. But yeah, Horvath no chance, and Shrewsbury are level. On the stroke of half time then, Shrewsbury would get a free kick on the left hand side for them. Ball into the box, and oh dear, they would take the lead. That goal is even worse looking back at it. Lloyd with, it's a good header in fairness from Lloyd off the crossbar, but it's really poor defending from us. But Shrewsbury really haven't blinked since they equalised, and yeah, they deserve to go ahead in fairness. But it was a really poor defending from us, and well, you could argue Horvath should save it as well. And yeah, we'd fall behind right on the stroke of half time. Not a lot happened after half time until the 55th minute. Charlie McNeil runs through, fires beyond the keeper and levels it for us. First goal of the season for McNeil. First goal of the series from McNeil. And well, we are hopefully then back on track in this cup tie. Get in there. Our only chance really after that will fall to Fizier, who shoots really tamely straight at Brook, never going to trouble him. I say our only chance. Shrewsbury will get one of their own, and Horvath. Horvath, are we actually serious? Are we actually serious, Horvath? Are we really doing this here? Are we really going to do this in FC as well as in real life? Once again, Ethan Horvath, he's got to do better. He's got to do so much better with that shot. And Shrewsbury back in front. On 85 minutes, Shrewsbury will get a corner and would absolutely crush our hopes of coming back late on. Good header from Boyle. Horvath committed, didn't get there, didn't get anywhere near it, and the man on the line, I believe it was Fizier, was too far across to make an impact, and it's going to be a defeat and us being knocked out in the first round of the Carabao Cup to Shrewsbury. Brings back memories of 2016 when they knocked us out the FA Cup. And that would be that once again, another defeat for us in a really poor start to the season. This one even worse because, well, when we conceded the fourth goal, we did have a few of our very good players on the pitch. Or well, our better players anyway. But realistically now, there's no dodging it. We are out of the Carabao Cup in the first round. Oh, for God's sake, Barry, are we actually serious? We would follow that cup defeat up with yet another long day at the office against Stoke. And that long day would start in the 4th minute. Shot towards goal, and it just goes through Pierce Charles, who has been restored to goal because, well, he might be a lower rating, but I still trust him more than Ethan Horvath. But yeah, in that moment, maybe not so trustworthy. But anyway, 6 minutes later it was 2. For the second league game in a row we concede a penalty. However, this time they will get their 3rd goal. Then their 4th from the spot again. we would get a consolation goal with 10 to play. Charlie McNeil getting his first league goal of the season after getting his first goal of the season in the Cup. Didn't matter though, Stoke would score one more to finish the game off. And then our second game in focus for the episode would take place at Wrexham, a side that will more than likely be within the relegation battle at the end of the season. So it was important that we could turn around our poor start to the season here at Wrexham. The first chance of the game then would go the way of us. A run down the line from Lowe, he would play it into the middle, Ugbo would shoot straight at Okonkwo, but we have started well here, just inside 10 minutes. After a period of 2 or 3 free kicks, Wrexham would get their first chance of the game. Really good play in fairness to find, I think it was Hardy there in the middle, and he would fire just wide of Pierce Charles' goal. But a little warning sign there for us. So what do we do in response to that? We go down the other end with another chance. Ugbo would play it across for McNeil, and he would eventually, after an okay save from Okonkwo, probably should do better though, in fairness, it does end up scrambling over the line, and Charlie McNeil for the second game in a row has gotten a league goal. Third game in a row actually if you include the Cup, and yeah, he's been on really good form in these past few games. And just 4 minutes later we'd get another chance here. Ugbo again with the ball, brilliant bit of play from Chalobah, and he would fire it past Okonkwo, and we were running away with this out of nowhere realistically, looking at our form so far this season. But Wrexham haven't really threatened us so far, and it just begs the question, is this a game that confirms they will be relegated at the end of the season? I know it's a long ways to go, but looking how poor we've been so far this season, is this an early sign? Into the second half then, and we'd start pretty well. Brown would pick the ball up on the edge and fire it towards goal. Okonkwo would once again make the save. One thing that we have struggled with so far is recovery after games. McNeil was struggling, as well as Ugbo at half time, and we had to take them both off. As we get another chance here as well with Bannan, but well, that was a very tame effort. And then after overcoming pressure for a long period of time, Wrexham would finally get a chance and would finally get a goal to pull themselves back into this game, back into reach, and well, it's still no clean sheets. And can we hold on here? Brilliant finish in fairness from the Wrexham man there. It was Hardy in the end with the finish, after having a pretty poor first half, with that only effort from Wrexham being a pretty poor one. But Wrexham, like I said, back in the game. And all of a sudden it would just become all Wrexham. They'd get another chance here, just on the 70th minute. Ball across and a shot towards goal. It maybe was another pass on there, and Pierce Charles as well to tip it round the post. But Wrexham are looking strong all of a sudden. And just as we would start to fall under so much pressure, we would finally get an outlet. We would take it, Bannan would advance and go down in the area, and we would get a penalty and a chance with 10 to go to pull away again and surely finish this game off. Although in fairness, I will admit I feel like that may have been outside the area. But anyway, Lowe then would step up from 12 yards and would dispatch it into the top left corner past Okonkwo, and surely now with 10 to go, that is 3 points away. And then with 5 to go, we'd get a breakaway here with Fernandes. He would advance forward, and the young Bruno Fernandes, one-on-one with the keeper, he would absolutely bury it beyond Okonkwo. It may have hit both posts, but that makes it even better. Bruno Fernandes, not that one, scores on, I think, what was his Wednesday debut, and it is 3 points at Wrexham. A big 3 points at Wrexham. And 3 points it absolutely was. It was a game we absolutely dominated from start to finish. We maybe had a little blip in the just after half time in the second half, but we cannot shy away from the fact we deserved all 3 in this game. That man there getting his first goal, it is finishing then at Wrexham. Wednesday 4, Wrexham 1. The month of August would come to a close with our second victory of the episode against Swansea, starting off with a goal from, I believe it was McNeil again, into the bottom right corner, past the goalkeeper Vigouroux, and his goal scoring form continued. As you may have seen there, McNeil was injured, which meant he had to come off, but it wouldn't matter because his replacement Ugbo would set up Jamal Lowe, and we would take a 2-goal lead just inside the first 5 minutes of the second 45. And 2 minutes later, Jamal Lowe would return the favour. This time he set up Ugbo, who lifted his shot over Vigouroux, and that was 3 goals, and once again, for the second time this season, 3 points confirmed. And that is going to conclude episode 1 of this year's FC 25 career mode with Sheffield Wednesday. If you did enjoy, don't forget to like and subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss an upload for the series. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in episode number 2. Peace out.